Welcome everyone. Today is not just another video. This is another wake-up call, a conversation that your past self needed years ago, and your future self is silently begging you to hear right now. Because what we're talking about today is something we all forget when life gets hard, something that can completely change your future if you understand it deeply today. This video is about a truth that every successful, fulfilled, happy, and unstoppable human being lives by. But most of the world ignores the truth that never say never is not a quote. It's a lifestyle, it's a mindset, it's a promise you make to yourself when the world tells you it's over. In this video, we are going to break the lies you were told, that you'll never change, that you'll never rise from your pain, that your environment will always hold you down, that your small efforts don't matter, that you need permission to become who you truly are. Lies. All of it. This video is your mirror, not the kind that shows your face, but the kind that shows your truth. Why this video is important? Because right now, millions of people are stuck. They believe their life will never get better. They believe their past mistakes are permanent. They believe that just because they're from a small town, a broken home, a struggling background, they're not allowed to dream bigger. But if no one told you before, let me be the first to say it. Your limits are not real. They were just repeated. Your failures are not final. They were just lessons. Your dream is not stupid. It's your responsibility. This video is about taking your broken pieces and building something unstoppable from them. What you will learn. In the next 10 life-changing lessons, I'm going to show you why your current situation doesn't define your future. How small efforts, if done daily, can rebuild your entire identity. Why you don't need permission from anyone, not parents, not society, not even your past self, to begin again. Why failure is not the end. It's the entrance to the next level. And how to finally stop letting your pain, your fear, your doubt, or your background define your destiny. You will not walk away from this video the same person. Because if you truly listen, if you truly feel these truths, you'll finally understand. It was never impossible. It was just waiting for you to stop saying never. This video will not only change your mindset, it will also improve your English, your confidence to speak, and your ability to express yourself clearly every day. Before we begin, take a moment. Look around. This is your life. And the version of you that's watching this right now, that's the version who still believes something is possible. So don't ignore that voice. Don't let the noise of the world shut it down again. Because now begins the truth you've needed for too long. Let's start with Lesson 1. Lesson 1. Your present doesn't define your future. Let's get something very clear. Where you are right now is not who you are forever. I don't care if you're broke. I don't care if you're alone. I don't care if you've failed 10 times or 100 times. You are not finished. You are not stuck. You are not your job. You are not your parents' mistakes. You are not your grades, your rejections, your shame, your guilt, or your failures. Those are just moments in your story. But they do not get to write the ending. Most people live like this. I'm poor, so I'll always be poor. I failed before, so I'm not meant for success. My family never did anything big, so I can't either. This lie traps people for life. And that's exactly what never say never destroys. Because when you say never, you're not talking about reality. You're repeating a story someone else forced on you. Let me give you one of the most powerful real examples in the world. Oprah Winfrey. She was born into extreme poverty in Mississippi. She wore potato sacks as clothes. She was abused, rejected, fired from her first TV job for being unfit for television. She was told, "You'll never succeed." But she didn't accept that version of her life. She didn't say never. She said, "Not yet." Today, she's one of the most powerful and respected women in the world. A billionaire, a global icon, a force of nature. Why? Because her present did not define her future. She did. If you only remember one thing from this lesson, let it be this. Your current reality is temporary, but your decisions are permanent. You don't have to be perfect today. You just have to stop believing that today is all you'll ever be. How to apply this in your life, step by step. 1. Stop labeling yourself by your situation. You are not lazy. You've just built lazy habits. You are not stupid. You've just been told that too many times. You are not nothing. You're just in the part of your story where the hero hasn't risen yet. 2. Rewrite your identity with action. Even one small action today proves to your brain that change is happening. Go for that walk. Learn one English sentence. Say no to that distraction. Every time you do, you're telling the world, "I am not done." 3. Visualize who you want to become. Then act like them now. The future version of you? Confident, free, healthy, respected, fluent in English. Start thinking like that person. Start talking like that person. Even if it feels fake, it's not. It's practice. And with enough practice, it becomes your truth. You're not too late. You're not too broken. You're not too far gone. You're just early. And this moment, this lesson, it might be the turning point. So next time your mind says, "You'll never get there," tell it, "That may be where I am now, but that's not where I'm staying." Because now you know the truth. Your present doesn't define your future. You do. Lesson 2. Tiny efforts create big results. There is a dangerous belief that ruins millions of lives. It sounds like this. If I can't do something big, then I won't do anything at all. So people wait. They wait for motivation. They wait to feel confident. They wait for the perfect time. But the truth is, the perfect time never comes. If you are waiting to feel ready, you will wait your whole life. And this is where most dreams die. Not because people didn't care, but because they underestimated the power of small daily actions. Great results don't come from one big event. They come from invisible effort, repeated when no one is watching. Tiny steps that seem like nothing in the moment, but build something unbelievable over time. Success is not loud. At first, success is quiet, like writing one page when nobody's reading, like waking up early when nobody claps, like choosing to study for 10 minutes instead of scrolling your phone. It doesn't feel exciting. It doesn't feel like progress. But these tiny moments, they're how you win. Because while others chase motivation, you are building momentum. Imagine two people. One says, "I want to build the biggest, most beautiful house in the city." So he draws plans. He dreams big. He talks about it. But he doesn't lay a single brick. The second person doesn't say much. But every single day, without fail, they lay one brick. Rain or shine, sick or tired. One brick. Now fast forward 3 years. Who has a house? Not the dreamer. Not the one with the big vision. The one who did something small. Every day. That's how greatness is built. One tiny effort at a time. even if nobody notices today. The world can't ignore the result forever. Real story. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, the former president of India, wasn't born into wealth or privilege. He used to distribute newspapers in the morning before going to school. He didn't have everything, but he gave everything to his daily effort. He kept reading, kept learning, kept moving forward. Every small step brought him closer to being a scientist, then a leader, then a role model for millions. That's the power of tiny effort. Not everyone saw it, but his future did. Step by step, how to use this lesson. Today. 1. Shrink your goals. Don't say, I'll study English for 2 hours. Say, I will study one sentence every day, no matter what. Because small goals build habits. Big goals often build guilt. 2. Repeat without results. At first, it will feel like nothing is changing. That's okay, because your mind is changing, your discipline is forming, and your future is paying attention. 3. Track the streak, not the result. Don't focus on, did I win today? Focus on, did I show up today? Because when you show up again and again, the win becomes automatic. You don't need to leap. You just need to take one step, then another, and someday, without even realizing it, you'll look around and see that you've built something unstoppable. Never say never, even to your small effort, because it's not small. It's the beginning of everything. Lesson 3. You don't need anyone's permission to begin. Let me ask you a question. How many dreams are buried today? Just because someone was waiting for approval? They wanted to start a business. They wanted to move to another city. They wanted to speak up, create something. But they didn't. Because someone in their life, a parent, a friend, a teacher, a society, never gave them permission. So they kept waiting until it was too late. This lesson will free you forever. You don't need permission to begin. Not from your family, not from your past, not from your society, not even from your old self. If something inside you is whispering, start now, that voice is enough. Steve Jobs didn't wait for anyone's permission to build Apple. He didn't ask the world if it was okay to change it. He just started. In a garage, with no money, no connections, no permission. If he waited to be qualified, we wouldn't have iPhones today. We wouldn't have the tools that shape the modern world. That's the difference. Most people wait to be chosen. But the greats? They choose themselves. This is what happens when you live for permission. You shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You delay your own life because someone else doesn't get it. You confuse respect with obedience. You live safe and die unknown. And the worst part? The people you're waiting for are not even thinking about you. They're busy living their own lives while you are pressing pause on yours. Step by step, how to stop waiting and start moving. 1. Make a list of things you've delayed because of others. Did you not apply for that job because of fear? Did you not post that video because someone might laugh? Did you stop learning English because someone said it's useless? Write it all down. Face it. 2. Ask one question. If no one was watching, what would I do? That's your truth. That's what matters. And that's what deserves action. 3. Do one thing without asking. Post the idea. Record the reel. Study the sentence. Book the ticket. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be yours. Imagine, a teenage girl from a conservative town wanted to become a pilot. Her father said, no. Her relatives said, girls don't fly. Her teacher said, it's not realistic. But she refused to accept never. She secretly studied. She trained. Years later, she flew a commercial aircraft with over 150 people on board. Her father watched her land the plane and cried. That's the power of not waiting. That's what happens when you don't ask. You become. Don't wait to be ready. Don't wait to be perfect. Don't wait for approval. Because while you're waiting, life is moving. You don't need anyone's permission to begin. You just need one thing: the courage to take the first step without applause. Because someday, the world will clap for what you started alone. Never say never, especially when the only person holding you back is someone who hasn't even lived your dream. Lesson 4. You become what you repeatedly do. Let's face a deep and uncomfortable truth. You are not what you say. You are not what you hope. You are not what you plan. You are only this, what you repeatedly do. If you spend hours scrolling every night, you are becoming a scroller. If you complain every day, you are becoming a complainer. If you make excuses instead of progress, you are becoming your own enemy. No matter what your goals are, your habits are your real identity. Your life is not shaped by what you do once in a while. It is shaped by what you do consistently, especially when you're tired, lazy, sad, or unmotivated. Most people don't fail because they're weak. They fail because they keep repeating weak behaviors. One negative thought, repeated daily, becomes a belief. One distraction, repeated daily, becomes an addiction. One lie to yourself, repeated daily, becomes your lifestyle. And here's the scariest part. You may not even notice it happening, because repetition creates familiarity, and what feels familiar begins to feel true. This is why it's dangerous to say, just this once. It's only 5 minutes. I'll be serious tomorrow. Because tomorrow becomes a habit, and soon the real you disappears, buried under choices you didn't even realize you were making. Example: Kobe Bryant was not just a great basketball player. He was an obsessed student of daily repetition. He once arrived at the gym at 4 a.m., 4 hours before practice. A young NBA player noticed this and asked him why. Kobe replied, "I saw you walk in, so I wanted you to know. No matter how early you get here, you will never beat me." He wasn't showing off. He was building identity through repetition. While other players were relying on talent, Kobe was repeating greatness every single day. On good days, on bad days, in silence, without applause. Because he knew, you don't rise to your goals, you fall to your habits. Step by step, how to shape yourself through repetition. 1. Track your daily behaviors. Forget goals for a moment. Write down exactly what you do every day. What time do you wake up? How much time do you spend on your phone? Are you practicing English daily or just hoping to improve? Because what you repeat, you become. 2. Identify the patterns that are killing your progress. Do you give up every time it gets boring? Do you start strong and then disappear? Do you avoid hard things by telling yourself, "I'll start later"? These are not mistakes. These are habits, and they will quietly destroy your future. 3. Replace before you remove. Don't just say, "I'll stop scrolling." Say, "Every night at 9 p.m., I will watch one English learning video." Don't say, "I'll stop wasting time." Say, "Every day at 7 a.m., I will write down my 3 goals." You can't remove a bad habit unless you replace it with a powerful one. Every time you say, "This won't matter," you're building your future. One wasted day at a time. But every time you say, "Just 5 minutes of effort," you're building something even more powerful. discipline, identity, confidence, mastery. So be careful what you repeat, because every day, with every small decision, you are becoming someone. The question is, are you becoming who you want to be? Never say never, because it's never too late to break the pattern and build the person you were meant to become. Lesson 5. You are bigger than your environment. Most people think they are stuck because of where they are. Their house, their city, their family, their school, their culture, their community. They think, I can't grow here. People like me don't do big things. My environment is too small for my dream. But the truth is, that's just fear in disguise. You don't need a perfect environment to grow. You just need the decision to grow in spite of it. Some of the strongest plants in the world grow in the worst places. In deserts with no water, in cracked concrete with no sunlight, on mountains where the wind never stops. Why? Because their strength comes not from comfort, but from resistance. In the same way, your environment may be dry, cold, negative, or limiting. But that doesn't stop your potential. In fact, it may be the exact condition you need to become unstoppable. Real story. Howard Schultz grew up in Brooklyn's housing projects. His father was a truck driver. They had no money, no business background, no luxury. Most people from that neighborhood didn't get out. They stayed small. They believed the environment was their destiny. But Howard believed something different. He believed he could rise, even if no one else believed it. Years later, he built Starbucks, a billion-dollar company with stores across the world. He changed how people drink coffee. He changed what success looked like from a broken background. His environment didn't support his dream, but his mindset did. This is the biggest lie your environment tells you. Nobody else is doing it, so maybe I shouldn't either. But that lie is poison, because if nobody is doing it, that means you are the one chosen to start it. You were not born to repeat your surroundings. You were born to rise above them, and when you do, others will follow. Your rise will give them permission to believe in their own. Step by step. How to outgrow your environment. 1. Stop looking for support. Start being the example. Your family might not understand. Your friends might laugh. Your community might doubt you. But you are not here to be accepted. You are here to become someone no one else dared to be. 2. Create an internal environment of greatness. Your room may be small, but your vision should be massive. Fill your mind with books, thoughts, dreams, goals. Control what you feed your brain, even if you can't control where you live. 3. Do one thing every day that your environment doesn't expect. Read when others are partying. Practice English when others are gossiping. Save money when others are wasting it. Every time you go against your surroundings, you prove one thing. I don't belong to this place. I belong to my vision. Some people are born in comfort. Others are born in challenge. But comfort does not create champions. Challenge does. You don't need to escape your environment to grow. You just need to stop using it as an excuse. The truth is, you are bigger than your environment. And once you stop waiting for your surroundings to change, you will realize you were the change all along. Never say never, even if no one around you believes in you. Because once you believe in yourself, the rest of the world has no choice but to follow. Lesson 6. Failure is not the end. It's the start. There's a dangerous lie that most people believe, a lie that steals dreams quietly. And that lie is this: if I failed once, I shouldn't try again. So people stop. They stop applying. They stop trying. They stop hoping. Not because they are lazy, not because they don't want it, but because somewhere along the way, they started to believe that failure means the end. But here's the truth that changes everything. Failure is not the end. It's the doorway. It's the beginning of real growth, real change, real power. The moment you fail is the moment you've started the part of your life that matters. It's when you stop pretending. It's when your excuses die. It's when the real work begins. Why failure feels so painful? Because failure touches something personal. Your identity. When something doesn't work, you don't just think the action failed. You think you failed as a person. You tell yourself, maybe I'm not meant for this. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I should stop embarrassing myself. But those thoughts are not truth. They're just fear, wearing the mask of logic. And fear doesn't care about your future. Fear only wants you to quit before you find out what's actually possible. For example, Clara was a 26-year-old woman living in a small village. She wanted to learn English because she dreamed of working at a hotel in the city. Her family laughed. Her cousin said, "You're too old to start." Her first class, she couldn't understand anything, not even, "Hello, how are you?" She went home and cried. She thought about giving up, but she told herself, "One sentence a day, no matter how bad I sound." She failed again and again. She mispronounced. She forgot words. She got laughed at. But she kept going. 2 years later, she got the job. The first thing she told her interviewer? "I'm not perfect, but I never stopped trying." She wasn't fluent. She wasn't a master. But she had something more powerful than talent. She had the courage to fail forward. It doesn't mean you're not good enough. It doesn't mean it's over. It means you are now at the start line of your real life. Because now you know what not to do. Now you know how it feels to fall and how to stand again. Now you're no longer afraid of trying. Failure removes fantasy. It destroys the fake confidence you had when you were just dreaming. And in that empty space, you build real strength. Step by step, how to use failure as fuel. 1. Write down every failure you've faced in the last 3 years. Not to feel bad, but to see how many times you've survived. You're still here. That means it wasn't the end. 2. Ask yourself, what did each failure teach me? Every failure holds a lesson. A better method, a clearer vision, a tougher mindset. Don't just fail. Learn out loud. 3. Redefine the word fail. From now on, when you fail, say, "Good, I just got better at this." That didn't work. Let me find what does. That was practice, not punishment. Speak to yourself like a coach, not a critic. If you failed, it means you showed up. And that alone puts you ahead of millions of people who never tried. Most people die without ever risking anything real. So don't be ashamed of failure. Be ashamed only of quitting when your story was just beginning. Never say never. Not to a second try. Not to a messy start. Not to the broken path that's shaping you into someone powerful. Lesson 7. The world will doubt you before it respects you. Let's be honest. You will not be clapped for in the beginning. You will not be celebrated. You will not be understood. In fact, when you start changing, improving, rising, and breaking the rules of your environment, the first thing people will do is laugh, doubt, mock, whisper, ignore. They won't believe in your vision. Not because you're wrong, but because you're reminding them of what they never dared to do. Imagine this. You're someone who always wasted time. You decide to get serious. You start waking up early. You stop gossiping. You start learning. You begin planning your life. What will your friends say? They won't say, "Wow, you're improving." They'll say, "You've changed." You think you're better than us? Don't be so serious. Live a little. Why? Because your growth threatens their comfort. Your progress is a mirror showing them that they are standing still. And people hate seeing the truth. Example: Jack was a delivery boy in a busy city. He worked long hours, no college degree, no special skill. But every night after finishing deliveries, he studied digital marketing on his old phone. He didn't tell anyone. His roommates mocked him. They said, "Do you think you'll become a CEO now?" He said nothing. He just studied, every night, for 2 years. Today he runs his own small agency. Same friends now ask him for job referrals. The same people who once doubted him now admire him. Because the world always follows one rule. First they laugh, then they watch, then they ask how you did it. What to remember when no one believes in you. Their doubt is not your truth. Their silence is not your rejection. Their criticism is not your failure. You don't need their understanding to start. You only need your belief to keep going. Step by step. How to face doubt without losing yourself. 1. Expect resistance. It's part of the journey. Every time you change, you create discomfort in the people around you. Don't take it personally. Take it as a sign that you're growing. 2. Stop explaining your dream. Start executing it. The more you talk, the more they judge. The more you act, the more they shut up. Let your results become your loudest sentence. 3. Build a proof file. Every small win. Write it down. Your first 100 English words. Your first online sale. Your first morning without snoozing the alarm. These small wins are proof that you are not who they said you are. The world does not respect people in the beginning because it doesn't see your effort. It only sees your result. But you must respect yourself before anyone else will. And if you keep going, long after the jokes, the doubt, the silence, something beautiful happens. The same world that ignored you will start copying you. The same people who doubted you will start asking for your advice. But only if you don't quit early. Only if you never say never, even when no one believes in you yet. Because belief has to start with you, and it has to start now. Lesson 8. Belief is more powerful than talent. There are millions of people in the world who are talented. They have natural intelligence. They are good at writing, speaking, drawing, building, selling. But they are invisible, unknown, forgotten. Why? Because talent without belief is like a car with no engine. It might look great, but it's not going anywhere. Now look around the world. You'll see people who are not the smartest, not the best, not the most gifted. But they believed in their ability to grow, to improve, to build something from nothing. And that belief created the energy that talent alone never could. Here's the silent truth. People with natural talent often become lazy. They expect everything to come easy. And when things get difficult, they walk away. Because they were never taught how to fight. They were never forced to grow through struggle. They lived in comfort, and comfort weakens belief. Meanwhile, the person with no talent learns how to believe. They tell themselves, "I can learn this. I can try again. I don't know yet, but I will." And over time, belief becomes discipline. Discipline becomes action. Action becomes skill. And skill becomes a result that outperforms talent. Every time. There are thousands of workers in hotels, delivery jobs, farms, and factories around the world. People with no degrees, no English, no formal training. People who were told, "You'll always be here. This is your level." But some of them believed otherwise. They started with basic English sentences. No fancy books, just handwritten notes, a used dictionary. They practiced alone, in the mirror, in buses, during lunch breaks. Nobody clapped, nobody helped. They just kept going. Because they believed that they could rise, even if no one else believed with them. And now, some of them handle customers. Some of them teach their children. Some of them run small online businesses. Not because they were born talented, but because they believed enough to keep showing up when most people quit. You might be a brilliant artist, but if you don't create, nobody will know. You might be a fast learner, but if you stop when things get hard, you'll go nowhere. You might be a strong communicator, but if you never believe you're worth hearing, your words will stay inside forever. Talent is just potential, but belief is movement. Step by step, how to build belief, even if you feel ordinary one. Stop asking, "Am I good at this?" Ask, "Can I get better?" The question of talent will never help you. The question of progress will. If you're improving, then you're becoming powerful. And that's all that matters. 2. Track proof of your effort, not proof of your genius. Write down, "I studied 15 minutes today. I tried even though I was scared. I showed up when no one else did." These are the actions of someone who is rising, not someone who needs talent to succeed. 3. Stop comparing. Start building. Every time you say, "They are better than me," you delay your progress by feeding doubt. Replace comparison with construction. Ask yourself, what's one thing I can build today that future me will thank me for? You don't need to be gifted. You don't need to be lucky. You don't need to be born in the right place, the right family, or the right school. You just need one thing: a belief that refuses to die when life gets hard. And if you have that belief, not even the strongest talent can stand in your way. Never say never. Not even when your talent feels small. Because belief makes you bigger than every limit you've ever known. Lesson 9. You can rise from any rock bottom. There is a moment in life that many people reach. A moment so heavy, so painful, so deep, that it feels like the end. The moment where everything has gone wrong. The money is gone. The relationships are broken. The motivation has disappeared. The dream feels dead. And you're left with nothing but silence, shame, and exhaustion. That moment is called rock bottom. And this is the truth you must hold with everything inside you. Rock bottom is not the end. It's the beginning of your rise. Why rock bottom can become your power. Because when you lose everything, you also lose your fear. There's nothing left to protect, nothing left to prove, nothing left to pretend. You're raw, you're real, and that is the exact moment where change becomes possible. When your heart is broken, your pride is gone, and your path is unclear. You finally stop running from the truth. And in that quiet space, you begin to rebuild. Brick by brick. Breath by breath. Not with perfection, but with honesty. There are countless people who have lost their jobs, not because they were lazy, but because of layoffs, sickness, politics, or simply bad timing. Some go home and break down. They stop waking up early. They stop taking care of themselves. They feel like their value is gone. But some people, even from that same rock bottom, rise differently. They use their free time to learn. They apply to places they never had the courage to. They start freelancing. They reconnect with skills they ignored for years. They stop caring what others think and start building the version of themselves they were always afraid to be. And slowly, something changes. They don't just get their life back. They get a stronger, bolder, smarter version of themselves that could only be born in that lowest moment. Rock bottom lies to you. It tells you, you're too late. No one cares. You'll never recover. But rock bottom has one hidden gift. It teaches you that if you can survive this, you can survive anything. And that kind of strength can never be taken away. Step by step, how to rise when you feel broken. 1. Start with structure. When your emotions are wild, give your body something predictable. Wake up at the same time. Walk for 20 minutes. Eat regular meals. Structure rebuilds safety. And safety is step 1 to healing. 2. Create small victories. Apply for one job, not 20. Speak one English sentence to someone. Clean one room, not the whole house. Rock bottom is not the place for big moves. It's the place for realistic wins. 3rd, stop asking why me, start asking what now. Why me is a question that leads to pain. What now is a question that leads to power. Because action, even the smallest, is what turns suffering into growth. You are not weak because you're at rock bottom. You are not broken because you feel lost. You are not behind just because others seem ahead. You are simply in the part of your story where everything is about to change. But only if you stand up, only if you stop saying never and start saying, even from here, I can begin. Because the most beautiful transformations never start from the top. They begin in the dirt, in the dark, in the silence of rock bottom, where you finally decide that this version of you is not the end. Never say never, not even when everything has fallen apart, because that fall might be the only way to rise. Lesson 10. The only limit that exists is the one you accept. Most people walk through life like prisoners, but not in a jail. They are locked inside invisible walls made of doubt, fear, and fake limits. Limits that were never real. They were just repeated so many times, they started to feel like truth. Limits like, I'm too old. I'm not smart enough. People like me don't get rich. I'll never speak fluent English. It's too late to change. But here's the truth that breaks every one of those walls. The only limit that exists is the one you accept. If you question it, it weakens. If you challenge it, it shakes. If you reject it, it disappears. Limits are not chains, they are agreements. And the moment you stop agreeing with them, they lose all their power. Where do these limits come from? They don't come from your soul. They come from your environment. They come from teachers who only praised the top students, parents who passed on their fears, friends who laughed every time you tried something new, a society that told you to play safe, stay quiet, and fit in. You weren't born with limits. You were trained to believe in them. There are people living in slums, saving 5% of their income every week, and eventually starting small stores. There are students who failed in school, but learned skills on free websites and now earn online. There are single mothers working 2 jobs, still learning new languages at night because they believe they can rebuild their life. There are people in villages with no computers who walk 3 kilometers just to reach an internet cafe and watch one tutorial a day. Not one of them had privilege, but none of them accepted the limit. Because once you stop asking, "Can I?" and start asking, "How can I?" your brain opens doors you never knew existed. When you accept a limit, it becomes your identity. You stop trying. You stop dreaming. You make yourself small so that life doesn't feel too disappointing. But here's what you must understand. Limits never stop life. They only stop you from meeting the version of yourself that was waiting on the other side. Step by step. How to break invisible limits. 1. List every belief that starts with, "I can't." Write them all down. "I can't speak fluently. I can't focus. I can't succeed in this situation." These beliefs are not facts. They're programming, and like any program, they can be rewritten. 2. For each one, write a small action that proves it wrong. I can't speak English. Record a 20-second voice note every day. I can't focus. Work for 10 minutes without touching your phone. I can't succeed. Finish one goal, no matter how small. You don't need to win the war today. You just need to start breaking the wall with daily effort. 3. Build an identity that doesn't accept limits. Every time your mind says, "That's too hard," respond with, "Good. That's exactly why I must do it." Difficult is not a reason to stop. Difficult is a signal that growth lives here. You don't need to wait for the world to change. You don't need someone to give you permission. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to say, "I am no longer available for this version of my life." Because limits are not walls made of stone. They are walls made of belief. And beliefs can be broken, rebuilt, and redefined. One day at a time. Never say never. Especially when the voice telling you you can't is not even yours. Your life begins the moment you say, "I don't accept this anymore." Now, if someone is still watching, they've made it through all the pain, all the truth, all the fire. And they need to hear this one last message. The one that lives beyond limits, beyond fear, beyond identity, beyond excuses. Here it is. You are allowed to begin again, even after you failed, even after you gave up, even after you disappeared. You are allowed to hit reset, to start over, to rewrite your story. You are allowed to walk away from who you used to be, not because you were fake, but because you've grown. Most people carry shame from their past. They remember the moments they quit, the days they broke their promises, the time they said, "I'll do it tomorrow," and never did. And that shame becomes a quiet voice that says, "You've already failed. You've already proven you're not serious. You'll never finish what you start." But that voice is not truth. It's memory. And memory can be rewritten by one decision, one action, one commitment to begin again. With fire in your eyes and silence in your ego. You don't need a perfect past. You just need a powerful now. People who stopped studying and returned after years. People who hurt others and worked every day to heal, grow, and make peace. People who wasted time and then made every hour count. People who gave up on themselves until they realized that they weren't done yet. These are not stories of perfection. These are stories of rebirth. And they are more powerful than success that never struggled. Because when you begin again after breaking, what you build is unshakable. Step by step. How to truly begin again. 1. Forgive yourself. Out loud, say it, write it, believe it. You don't need to carry your past like punishment. You can learn from it and let it go. 2. Define the new identity. Who is the person you want to become now? Not the version from 5 years ago, not the version society expects, but the version that feels right, even if you're scared. Write it down. Repeat it daily. 3. Start with a new ritual. One action, done daily, that represents your new beginning. A 5-minute workout. A gratitude journal. A morning study habit. Not for results, for proof that you are no longer who you used to be. If you've made it this far, you are not weak. You are not broken. You are not late. You are simply ready. Ready to begin again. Ready to live without shame. Ready to build without fear. Ready to wake up every day with a quiet fire that says, I am not finished. I am not a failure. And I will not live the rest of my life trapped by the beginning of it. Never say never, because you were never meant to stay the same. You were meant to rise, to fall, to rise again, and this time, to keep rising. You've made it to the end. That means you're not like everyone else. You didn't quit. You didn't scroll away. You stayed. And that tells me something powerful about you. You're ready to change your life. Maybe the world gave up on you. Maybe you gave up on yourself. But today, that ends here. From this moment forward, never say never to your future. Never say never to your dreams. Never say never to the person you are becoming. Because you're not done. You're just getting started. And if you're ready to transform quietly, daily, and completely, subscribe. We're not just building English here. We're building unstoppable humans.